but so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome. Good evening. My name is Janet Schell. I have the honor of serving as principal of Oxford Virtual Academy and Oxford Schools Early College. Welcome to Commencement 2018. Today is the day to celebrate the conclusion of our students' high school education and a day to look forward and anticipation for all that lies ahead. Thank you all for participating in this special evening. I would also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge our 2018 graduates, their family and friends. I would also like to extend a special welcome to our Board of Education and District Administration. Please hold your applause until all of the names have been read. Representing our school board members are Thomas Donnelly Jr., President, Marty Stepik, Secretary, Dan D'Alessandro, Trustee, Heather Schaefer, Trustee, and Corey Bailey, Trustee. Board for your continued support for Oxford Schools' innovative programs. I would also like to welcome our central office administration who consistently provide exceptional leadership. Tim Brown, Superintendent, Ken Weaver, Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, Nancy Lutowski, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, Sam Barna, Assistant Superintendent of Business and Operations, and Denise Tweet, Assistant Superintendent of Student Services. Thank you. Please join me in extending a very warm welcome to our special guest, the Honorable John Riley, Michigan Representative for the 46th District. Finally, welcome Oxford Virtual Academy and Oxford Schools Early College faculty and staff members. Thank you for your dedication to our students. Every year you make us proud. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to introduce our school board president, Mr. Tom Donnelly, for the opening remarks.
Graduates of Oxford Schools 2018, this is your night. This is all about you. But before we do that, I want to do something. I want to need your help. I want to make it about some pretty important people. It is said that it takes a village to raise a kid. To raise hundreds of them, just imagine how many it takes. Well, out there in the audience are parents, family, friends, who all have a major part in you getting to where you were. Seated here are individuals who have dedicated themselves to your learning, dedicated themselves as faithful teachers to give you all they had so that you could be all you are. School administrators, staff, faculty, board members. Today we even have a state representative with us. Just imagine how many people are at work to make sure that you get the education that you get. And so I would like you, please, just to thank them for a second before we make it all about you. Would you do that, please? Thank you, graduates, and I just want to share the same thing with you that I shared with the graduates this last Thursday. There are two types of pads that look very similar. They're landing pads and they're launch pads. They're a bunch of steel and concrete, able to hold a lot of weight, and they have a particular function. As I think about a high school graduation, one of the things that I want you to be aware of is that you're on a launch pad, you're not on a landing pad. Landing pads mean you've arrived somewhere. Landing pads belong at hospitals, Navy ships, places where you need to get and land and be there. This is just a launch pad. All of this has been a process. For each of you has a direction in which you are going to launch. And for the first time in your lives, you may now more and more be responsible for the direction of that launch. For how long that launch takes, that flight takes. Whether that flight is smooth or rough. More and more, you're going to be responsible for the decisions during that flight. But if we've done our job, parents, family, friends, board members, staff, faculty, superintendents, state representatives, if we've done our jobs, we've created a launch pad for you so that you can go where you need to go. My words to you, dream big. Aim high. Never lose the course. Never forget your why. And land softly. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Good words. Ms. Rebecca Szymanski will deliver our first senior address. Please welcome Rebecca.
Good evening, everyone. I am honored to be able to speak today and be a part of such a wonderful program. First and foremost, I want to thank all of the parents for being here today with us every step of the way. I want to thank the teachers for always encouraging each of us to keep pushing forward. I also would like to thank Oxford Community Schools for giving us a new style of learning, which has been a life changer for all of us. I adore how OBA has acknowledged that every student is different and unique in their own way. And that is why here at OBA, we have been able to choose how we learn the best. I have been a part of OBA for about 4 years now. It has been such a pleasure going into the lab and sharing meaningful conversations, laughs, and struggles with other OBA students and teachers. My teachers have always supported me and have helped me time and time again when I have struggled in each of my classes. And I am so grateful for each of them. I would not be standing here right now if they didn't support me and encourage me to keep pushing forward the way that they have. So shout out to all of my teachers and mentors for believing in me. I have learned in the past 18 years of my life that giving up is just not an option. Persistence and discipline is what has helped us all get here to the stage today. My experience has taught me that nothing valuable will come easy. Be patient. Eventually, you will be where you want to be, and it will be so rewarding. Taking the easy way out may feel good in the moment, but one day you may look back and wish you would have worked just a little harder. Though in the moment, it is hard. Keep pushing forward. It is worth it. At times in life, you will feel completely overwhelmed, and that is when you need to drown out the world and focus on the small task at hand. Focus on giving it your all. Remember this as you continue through your life. Remember what the outcome is. Remember what you are fighting for, and remember what you are passionate about. You should never give up on something that you can't live a day without dreaming about. I found this Chinese proverb that I would like to share with you. It said, "The temptation to quit will be greatest just before you're about to succeed. Therefore, do not give up. Fight the good fight. Fight the urges in you to give in, to quit. When you find yourself persisting towards your goals, you find yourself accomplishing incredible things. You will find your dreams coming true, and you will find happiness in the small things in life because you are happy with yourself. Mistakes are inevitable, so embrace them. All you can do is analyze the mistake you have made and acknowledge where you went wrong. Question yourself, question others, seek advice from others who have gone through similar situations as you. Learn from the mistake so that you can grow as an individual. Use the mistake to your advantage. You now have experience of what not to do. Most importantly, forgive yourself. Be kind to yourself. You are important and you are loved. So be kind to yourself. We all fail at times. As I have grown and changed throughout high school, and as I am standing here, I can't help but feel a little blue. Life is too short. It's too short, so please don't dwell on the mistakes that you have already made. Mistakes are just a sign to the world that you are trying, and that is courageous. Life is too short to not forgive the people that you love the most. We all often forget that we also want to be forgiven when we fail at times. Life is too short, so don't forget to laugh. Laughter is the sound of the soul celebrating. Laughter brings joy. Life is too short to let what others do control your emotions. I like to remember 3 small words that have helped me overcome much. Let it go. If we constantly elaborate our minuscule issues, we will not find happiness in simply just being with one another. Life is too short, so as we look ahead to the future, I say, work hard towards each and everything that you are passionate about, and be kind to one another, for you have no idea what each person is going through. Learn from yesterday, live for today, and look to tomorrow.
Thank you, Rebecca. Well done. Miss Anissa Berrier, accompanied by Miss Kelly Singer, will sing Astonishing.
And I don't know
Thank you, Anissa. Well done. Ms. Maria Sobrino will deliver our second senior address.
Good evening, teachers, faculty, staff, parents, and of course, my fellow graduates. If you were to compare myself as a student 5 years ago, just before entering Oxford Virtual Academy, to myself now, at the end of senior year, the changes are quite dramatic, as I'm sure they are for the majority of my peers in the audience. Better hair, more confidence, and a stark familiarity with the College Board website. Despite the changes, however, the only thing more persistent than emails from colleges with a desperate tagline, "There's still time to apply," is the panic that is set in at the end of each semester when the phrase crunch time becomes more of a lifestyle. While the ability to complete 75% of a course's content within 2 weeks and emerge with a laudable final grade is respectable, the ultimately unnecessary stress, pressure, and irritability that accompanies this manifestation of procrastination leaves my parents, my friends, and most of all myself wondering, why endanger your grade and your semester by putting yourself through that? Why not make things easier for yourself and your teachers by working over 4 months instead of 4 weeks? And as much as I realize the absurdity of my actions, I struggle to ever move away from this pattern. My conclusion then was that online learning was simply not suited for me. Too much flexibility was given to students who innately required some form of structure as a means of motivation. For a good portion of high school, I carried this negative view of online education with me before considering something else. Maybe I was the problem. Perhaps it wasn't that I had too much flexibility to complete assignments in a timely manner, but that I had enough time to produce a quality paper, PowerPoint, or project. Because while I immediately felt exhausted and sluggish when reading an assessment rubric at an early point in the semester, I was later able to magically flourish at the task a day or two before the deadline. So clearly, the difficulty or demands of the assignment was not an issue. The procrastination was maybe then not due to laziness or indifference, but due to the fear that if I did not indeed use all the time I was given to work out my assignment to its greatest potential, the end product wouldn't match up to my expectations. It was much easier to hide behind the ready excuse of an impending deadline to make up for any lapses in quality or creativity. Getting over this self-named fear of the first draft involves overcoming a certain type of egoism and an insecurity at the root of that egoism. Many of us want to believe that we are capable of creating very nearly anything of exceptional quality when we are given the chance, yet very few of us give ourselves that chance, even when we usually have the resources to do so. It is easier to skip the rewriting, rethinking, and growth that comes from editing draft after draft, and it is so much less taxing to make the first and final draft one and the same, and show off our work with the verbal caption, "Oh, I just came up with it on the spot." In order to mature from the fear of the first draft, we must accept that most things we create will not reach our own personal expectations and will not represent our abilities as accurately as we want them to. In the words of author Neil Gaiman, the first draft doesn't matter. No one needs to see it or even know it happened. Its only job is to exist. We must internalize the reality that our greatest work will only come after standing up to the weaker results of our creative or intellectual journey, and our talents will only be realized after learning from and building on these weaknesses. Our only job is to be brave enough and humble enough to face them. In a rather ironic twist, I came to believe that rather than complicate my academic career, my experience with online learning offered me an advantage over my peers who solely interacted with the traditional brick-and-mortar system. It is my own responsibility to take the necessary actions to fearlessly create the best work possible, not that of an omnipresent teacher or that of a bell schedule. No one hopes as precisely for our success as we do ourselves, and it is up to us to dictate that success with the raw tools of time and a privileged access to intellectual resources. The practice of online education is still in its infancy, and we are lucky as graduating seniors to have experienced the personal responsibility and agency it has actively extended to us. And now, hopefully, we will be ready to take that responsibility for ourselves and what we produce in our careers following today. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. I think we would call you an OVA pioneer. I remember when she was this high. Thank you very much. Now may I please call on Ms. Rebecca Hunter to perform No Weapon, Fred Hammond. To present the 2018 Scholarship Awards is Ms. Amy Greenspan, OVA's Guidance Counselor. Welcome, Amy.
Good evening, everyone. So we are so fortunate to be able to offer scholarships to our full-time OVA students, thanks to the generosity of our online vendors, Apex, Calvert, Edmentum, Lincoln, Pearson, and PrepWorks. For most, students were required to submit an essay for consideration, and our faculty made selections based on content with names removed. Personal growth is something that, and I would want to remind everyone, we'll announce your name and you'll stand at your seat and we will recognize you. So personal growth is something that, as a faculty, we regularly see within our students. It's particularly meaningful, however, when our students recognize and can articulate their own growth. Looking at this student today, we see a poised, confident young adult ready to take on university. Rewinding to the start of this year, when the student joined OVA as a senior, today was slightly less certain. Adjustment to online learning was challenging. When you come to OVA to have new surroundings and find more focus, there's often still the tug of the old internal struggles and external pressures that often puts one's commitment to the test. However, after falling behind, the student realized that her dream of attending CMU might be slipping. Quickly, the student learned about pacing, communication with teachers, having a positive attitude, and productively working through the tough moments. And while she dug herself out of a bit of a hole for a semester this past term, even with balancing family, friends, and a job, she finished her courses ahead of time. Furthermore, she learned about friendships, trusting others, and extreme humility. OVA proudly awards the Apex Personal Growth Scholarship to Wildcat and soon-to-be Chippewa, Kirsten Esty. Leadership is both a personal trait and a skill that develops over time. In this case, our emerging leader is a student who was bullied and struggled socializing in a seated program. Joining us 2 years ago, she has learned to learn differently. She has overcome significant personal illness and refused to let anything allow her to get behind in her studies. She pursued multiple passions, and while continuing to take rigorous online and college-level classes, she has spent time on mission trips and, impressively, opened her own photography business. Ready to pursue a career in nursing, our Pearson Leadership Award recipient graduates with strong friendships and the self-confidence to be successful in all of her endeavors. Congratulations to Ms. Gracie Smith. So what is a virtual pioneer? I get asked this question a lot, especially by students as they're thinking about what to write for this essay. To this person, it meant that learning in a virtual environment provided a path that would not have otherwise been available. It meant taking a risk and exploring the world of online learning several years ago when OVA was a much newer program, and people weren't always sure what online learning even meant. It meant having the flexibility to pursue personal interests, specifically at the Merge Art Studio. It meant taking the time, all the time, to properly and thoroughly understand every concept presented in our lessons. It meant advocating, sometimes hard, for her needs, academic, social, and personal, so that her goals could be our shared goals. It meant having the confidence to smile and continue to smile and believe in herself above everything else, and watching her in the lab each day. This pioneer is blazing a trail to independence and a truly meaningful adulthood. Our Lincoln virtual pioneer is Annie. So this year OVA was also honored to receive scholarships from PrepWorks and Edmentum. PrepWorks is our test prep program, and they have awarded $100 to the student who showed the most progress in their SAT prep course, one that they actually took last year. And Edmentum is the company who administers our NWEA test, this nationally standardized test that students took both in October and March this year. They have awarded $250 to the student who showed the most growth from one test to the next. This year, Connor Romine and Serena Bianchi are respectively receiving the PrepWorks and Edmentum scholarships for their achievements. Congratulations. And congrats to all of you. Thanks for giving me the best job.
Thank you, Amy. So exciting to see all of our grads and all of your accomplishments. We're so proud of you. Now for a special moment in our commencement, please join me in welcoming Mr. Matt Sanela, the Assistant Principal at the Oxford Virtual Academy, to speak about the Mentor Award. It's a pretty special award around these parts.
The Mentor Award. It's an annual Oxford Virtual Academy Mentor Award goes to a deserving student of the class of 2018. The Mentor Award recognizes the student who has consistently demonstrated all-around achievement, demonstrating honor, scholarship, determination, service, citizenship, care, and leadership. To present this award, please welcome our senior class mentor, Ms. Basha Ostrowski.
Good evening, graduates, families, friends, staff. It is an honor to have the opportunity to introduce our 2018 Mentor Award recipient. This student was chosen to receive this award because of her exceptional achievements in scholarship over the past 4 years of high school at OVA. For her self-motivation and determination to maintain focus on an academically rigorous curriculum while participating in extracurricular activities revolving around her love of music, she has successfully completed 10 AP courses, 10, within the last 2 years. With honors, and she's also served as leader and first violinist of the Dort Honors String Quartet and concertmaster of the Flint Youth Symphony Orchestra. For her service and citizenship by partaking in various activities throughout high school, such as being a co-editor for OVA's online literary magazine Eloquentia, as well as the international literary magazine Polyphony HS. Finally, for her polite and caring nature, it makes me proud to honor her with this award tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure to present to you this year's Mentor Award recipient, Maria Sabrina.
Next, I would like to introduce the Honorable John Riley, State Representative from the 46th District. We are honored he could be with us this evening. Representative Riley was first elected to the Michigan House of Representatives in November of 2016 and represents residents of northern Oakland County, including Oxford, Orion, Oakland, partially, Addison, and Brandon Townships. Representative Riley graduated from Royal Oak Kimball High School and received an Automotive Technology Engineering Associate's degree from Oakland Community College. Representative Riley worked for 20 years in the automotive test engineering industry before starting his own home service business, Log Cabin Handyman, which he has owned and operated for the past 12 years. This is Representative Riley's first time holding public office as a state representative. He is currently a Republican state committeeman and precinct delegate. He has been married to his wife Karen for 31 years. Their 4 adult children are Katie, Renee, Hillary, and Thomas. They have 2 grandchildren. Representative Riley enjoys the outdoor activities, including backpacking, camping, hunting, fishing while living in God's creation. Please give Representative Riley a warm OVA welcome.
Well, thank you, Oxford Virtual Academy, Oxford Schools Early College. First and foremost, congratulations to you all on graduating, completing your coursework, and now entering the next stage of your life. To those of you who don't know, I am John Riley, State Representative for the Oxford area. I was asked to share some pearls of wisdom to celebrate this occasion with you. I'm not much of a politician, to be honest. I was elected less than 2 years ago. Other than that, as already spoken, I have a home repair business for the last 15 years. I've never even had to deal with office politics. So it's a pretty steep learning curve for me. Here's what I've learned while lawmaking since I first came to Lansing. None of us know anything, but we think we know everything. All the time we're passing new laws and every legislator votes yes or no as if we are experts on everything from road engineering to sexual assault prevention. We do have some help. There's a policy office that writes little briefs about what every bill is doing and the problems it intends to address. We meet in committees. We get a slight amount of expertise in a few policy areas. We have staff that can look into things. But all the same, we basically just rush legislation through whenever we think the public wants us to do something. It's expected of us. Last year, I remember we had one bill that was meant to stop opioid abuse. These are prescription drugs that act like morphine or heroin. They're really bad and really became a plague in just the last few years. So the public was saying something must be done. We had to do something about it. And one idea someone came up with was to prevent doctors from simply writing prescriptions willy-nilly, make it illegal for them to prescribe drugs unless they're actually examined, the patient, and have what they call a bona fide doctor-patient relationship. That all sounded good to everybody. The bill came from the Senate, where it passed unanimously. Every senator voted for it. It went to the House Health Policy, and the chairman of the committee is a veterinarian, which is sort of a doctor, although maybe not experienced in conditions that are unique to human patients, like addictions. There are 2 representatives who are doctors, and neither of them is on the health committee. So the bill comes to the floor. No doctor has really looked at it, but it sailed through the Senate and the House committees. Now it's up for a vote on the House floor. I have to decide how to vote. And look, I'm not an expert in medicine, but I do strongly believe in medical freedom, and I don't believe very strongly in the wisdom of government. I voted no on the bill. One of 2 doctors also voted no, but it was a blowout, 102 to 8. It was signed into law 2 weeks later. Right about that time, my office got a phone call. It was a member of the Hospice Association. These are hospitals for the dying. People just need comfort because there's nothing more that can be done. People who need painkillers. It turned out this bill would put the dying in immense pain. They can't afford to have a doctor diagnose every single patient, and they don't need to because they're already diagnosed elsewhere. So we had to rush through another law, this one to postpone the first one a year and create a hospice exemption. And that's the way it goes. Most of us don't even have time to read the bills we make into laws. And guess what, folks? It's not just us, it's Congress, it's your own town council. Ask a lawyer to tell you about how fair a court is. Ask anyone that works in a big company what they think about upper management. Sorry to break it to you, but despite our best efforts, we're not the enlightened civil society we think we are. So be careful out there. I'm sure your parents have warned you life isn't fair. People come to me all the time as a lawmaker asking us to help make things fair. And we try. All the time we hear that this bill or that bill will level the playing field or make so-and-so pay their fair share. But I warn you, we don't know what we are doing. I'm not talking about Democrats or Republicans. Please don't take this as a partisan dig against Democrats or my Democratic colleagues or a slap at my Republican colleagues. It's the institutional nature of our system. You've been in school for pretty much your whole life. You've enjoyed a very innovative school. But I'm sure you've had your share of frustrations. It doesn't get any easier. So here's my advice. You must find your calling in life. You've worked very hard and earned summer off, but you will soon plunge headlong into a very turbulent, very unfair world. You have to work very hard to succeed, and it makes a big difference if you find fulfillment in what you're doing for a living. Of course, not every career is a calling. Before I became a state representative, I worked mostly on lawn sprinklers and fixed homes. A job is different from a calling. A job puts food on the table, it pays the bills. A calling is the most important thing you can do in this life, in which it would be most difficult to replace. Socrates is the most famous philosopher of all times. Philosophy was his calling. But what was his day job before he became a philosopher? Hardly anyone knows. He was a stonemason. Jesus was a carpenter until he was 30 years old. Then he left that line of work for the sake of his calling. Millions of people have heard of the Apostle Paul. His lectures and his letters to local churches changed the world. But he took no money for his work, deliberately. Then, what did he do for a living? Few people know. He made tents. Socrates and Jesus gave up their day job for the sake of their calling. Paul kept his day job. It funded his calling. The general calling took on a great significance during the Protestant Reformation. Luther and Calvin stressed that all godly, honest labor is acceptable to God, and that there should be no distinction of an ethical nature between the minister and the farmer. No man is more holy in the sight of God because of the kind of job he has. This is clearly a liberating doctrine. It calls us to labor hard and honestly. It teaches us that no matter what we do for a living, it's worth doing well. This in turn increases economic output because we strive to work more intelligently and less wastefully.
We strive to give a good account of ourselves before God, and in doing so, we give a good account of ourselves before men. So how do you find your calling? First, you must evaluate your capacities accurately. You should probably consult others, teachers, parents, pastors, employers, and even a professional testing service if necessary. You must come to grips with yourself. You must also come to grips with other people's evaluations of you. You'll be serving a market after all. Get used to the idea of having to take seriously other people's opinions of your talents. Second, what is the most important job you can perform? Try to peer ahead 40 years or whatever you think would be too old to you for to get your job. You look back at your life, what will you think of your work? What is a good decision when you have accepted this calling in your life's work? If you even try to answer these questions in advance, you are far more likely not to be disappointed when you ask them again in 40 years. Finally, what is the most important job you can perform in which few men can replace you? It's not enough to select the most important job you can do. You have to ask yourself this question. If I were to quit or die, would the job be rapidly filled by someone just as effective as I am, at the same wage? Whatever you do for a living, never abandon your search for meaning. Maybe you'll find a comfortable career, or maybe you'll struggle. Either way, you must continue your search for a calling, and then pursue that calling, or you are wasting your precious time. I'll close with a thought about character. J.C. Watts was a professional football player from Oklahoma, and later in life a congressman. He was the first person I know to say, "Character is what you do when nobody is looking." He's right, of course, and you should, at various times, take stock of your own performance in that regard, and seek help if you find yourself lacking. But leave it to a politician, and J.C. Watts was a politician, to give you only half the story. Character is also what you do when everybody is looking. What do you do when you fail, and they laugh at you, sneer at you, turn away from you? Are you going to quit? To give up your calling, your ambition, your great effort? Will you try to spin it, to deny reality, to save face, to save your own ego? Pray for strength to face your failures, because delusion is a downward spiral. It is a mortal mental illness. But if you own your failures, if you can admit to them, can accept them, can learn and move on, your mistakes are part of the path to victory. They are setbacks, but setbacks that make you better. So if character is what you do when nobody is looking, and when everybody is looking, what is it? It's the sum of your actions. Maybe this has seemed trite. You've heard, always do the right thing, be good. You're probably thinking, duh. But if you think I'm stating the obvious, take a moment to think about how this advice might apply to your friends. It's difficult to think about yourselves without the bias of your own egos. So think about your friends. Where do you see them in 40 years? Now try to imagine how do they see you? We are as others see us, after all. Anyway, that's my advice. Take it or leave it. Being a politician doesn't make me an expert in life. But in the solemn moment, as you start to really think about your future in depth, I hope that has been helpful. I wish you all the greatest success. Congratulations on your achievement. May you have many more such exciting moments in life. Cheers to you.
John, thank you for your words of wisdom. I appreciate that. Before we move the evening to the main reason we are here, graduates, you will find a quote in your diploma envelope. You're going to be picking that up after you leave the stage. I'm not giving a principal's address tonight. We have enough speakers, lots of words of wisdom, but I thought it important to share with you this quote by Charles Swindoll. It'll be right in your envelope. It is one that I found so helpful in my career and personal life. The quote says, "The longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude to me is more important than facts. It's more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than failure, than successes, than what other people think or say or do. It is more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. It will make or break a company, a church, a home. The most remarkable thing is we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we will embrace for that day. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the fact that people will act in a certain way. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play on the one string we have, and that is our attitude. I am convinced that life is 10% of what happens to me and 90% of how I react to it. And so it is with you. We are in charge of our attitudes. So class of 2018, please take this with you, for there will become a time when you will be faced with difficult and challenging moments. They do come. Be determined and resolute. Our first senior's address talked about that, and I thought about that as she was speaking. This is called Grit by some. The famous psychologist and best-selling pioneer and TED Talk speaker Angela Duckworth spoke on education and argued that the idea of power of passion and perseverance and determination. She summed it up, and it's quite simple, why grit trumps talent. Talent times effort equals skill. Skill times effort equals achievement. In other words, effort counts twice. Remember your attitude and your ability to stay the course, no matter what. It will make all the difference as you leave us and pursue your dreams. Go Wildcats.
Samuel Robert Abbott. Homeschool graduate Anissa Leanne Nicole Berrier. Serena Marie Bianchi. Marley Celine Bradley Mitchell. Nicholas R. Brigham. Graduating magna cum laude, Megan Nicole Clapsaddle. Homeschool graduate Asha Nzinga Cole. Homeschool graduate Depriya Monet Duncan. Graduating cum laude Elizabeth Victoria Durant. Oxford School's early college candidate Anna Grace Green. Graduating cum laude Victoria Rose Hamlet. Homeschool graduate Rebecca Renee Hunter. Elizabeth Drew Jane. Paul Richard Neal Knight. Graduating magna cum laude, Braden Andrew Marsack.
Renee Montine. Kirsten Ashley Maskey. Graduating summa cum laude, Keegan Alexander O'Brien. Graduating cum laude, Kira Bell Oberzer. James Anthony Remington. Oxford Schools Early College candidate, Nathan Andrew Richards. Homeschool graduate, Aaron Joseph Robinson. Autumn Faith Ryan. Summa cum laude, Oxford Schools Early College candidate, Elizabeth Joy Skippers. Oxford Schools Early College candidate, Jalen Dupree Smith. Marie Smither. Graduating summa cum laude, Oxford Virtual Academy Mentor Award winner, Maria Teresa Sabrino. Graduating cum laude, Gracie Lynn Starr. Graduating cum laude, Rebecca Caitlin Shemansky. Graduating summa cum laude, Emily Olivia Tang. Graduating summa cum laude, Joshua Brian Wiggins. Graduating cum laude, Nathan Jordan Witt. Graduating summa cum laude, Hannah Marie Ferguson, and her mother will be accepting her diploma.
For the presentation of the class of 2018, Changing of the Tassels, I'd like to invite Reagan Marsack to the podium.
Following graduates, please stand. Completing all educational requirements for both the state of Michigan and Oxford Community Schools in honor and tradition, as well as symbolizing our accomplishments and our passage from youth, will you please join me in turning your tassel from the right side to the left.
The graduating class of 2018. Congratulations.